Hello, sixth grade artists. Today we're going to attempt to do the most difficult thing you will do in art this year. Today we're going to attempt to take a photograph of our artwork and share it with Mrs. Altieri through Google Classroom. There are two main ways that you can do this, and the first way gives you a little bit higher quality, but when you do it this way, it is very challenging. You might need a grown-up, you might need to borrow a device, and it can get a little sticky. So after I'm done with this, I will show you another way that's a little bit easier, but the quality might not be as great. So you'll have some options. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually go to our Google Classroom page. So you can see we're at sixth grade art period 9, and you have some assignments. There's many ways to get to them. I'm just going to go to the classwork tab. And the assignment that I am focused on today is sketchbook name cover. So we're going to open up your sketchbook name cover, and yours will look different than mine because this is my teacher view, sorry. But you will see an attachment that says Sketchbook Name Project Google Slides. And when you click on that, it will open up for you a slide that's just for you. It's not shared with anybody in the class, it's just your artwork. And it will ask you to insert an image of your artwork. So the first technique that I want to show you is inserting your image using a separate device. So over on the right-hand side of my screen here, what you're actually looking at is my phone. You could use a tablet, you could use a phone. Most of us don't have one, so we would have to borrow from somebody in our family. But what I've done is I've placed my artwork on a flat surface, and I've checked out the lighting. I don't want weird shadows. So right now there's no weird shadows, but, sorry, I'm leaning out. If I turned a light on and went like this, there might be some weird shadows. So try to find a place that has good lighting without strange shadows. Outside in the shade is always a really good place, but I'm putting my artwork down on either a flat table, a counter, or the ground. That's a little weird. Most people don't know that, but when you photograph artwork, you do not stand it up. You put it flat on a surface. So it's flat on a surface, and then you go ahead and you lower your device until you get most of the artwork into that surface, and it's taking up most of your phone or your device, and you click a photo. Boop. And then once you have the photo, the tricky part on someone else's device or even your own is trying to figure out how to send that photo. So what I'm doing is I am figuring out how to send it. For most of us, it's clicking this rectangle that you find somewhere in your photo that has an arrow, so rectangle with an arrow, and you have to send it somewhere. Probably the easiest thing for you guys to do is to try and send it to Google Drive. So if you look at my apps, I don't even have Google Drive right there. So you might have to have a grown-up help you find more and keep going until you find Google Drive. And then it's going to ask you a whole bunch of things. If you are on your grown-up's account, you might have to put your account in, or they might have to share it with you. You might have to select a folder. So I'm going to put it in my sixth grade art folder. And this is where it gets really complicated, and a lot of people say, forget it. But if you can save it in your Drive, I also had to click upload to actually save it, that will give you a really high quality image. And sometimes what I do is on a Saturday, on the weekends, I'll just grab a bunch of artwork and I photograph it all at once and send it to Google Drive all at once, just so I have it ready to go. So that's the way that you can do it using a separate device. So I'm going to leave my separate device there. And the problem is it's not in my assignment for art. So what I would have to do then is I would have to go to Insert Image, and it gives me a lot of different choices. So right on the Google slide page, I go to Insert Image, and there's so many choices. There's 6 choices. So if you just uploaded it from a separate device and put it in Drive, Drive is one of the choices. There's many different ways to do this, but I find it easiest if I keep everything organized in my Drive. And since I just did it, it pops up right there. If you did it a little while ago, you might have to go through and search your Drive. You can use the search function, but that's probably the most challenging part, is finding your artwork. After you go ahead and insert it, then you'll want to play with it. There's a little tiny dot here that helps you turn your artwork. So you might want to turn it, oh boy, and keep turning it so it's horizontal or vertical. Then you might want to drag it, make it smaller. And if you have some outside edges that you don't want to show, there's this button here that's really hard to see. It's next to the little call out. It looks like a cross that's on its side, and it's called Crop Image. If you click that, you can play with the lines, and it'll let you move the lines a little bit so you can crop off the edges. So if you have a finger in there, if you have some grass showing, go ahead and play with crop, and then you have to click it again to actually make your image smaller. You can also double click it or hit format, and you can play a little bit with the color and things. But basically, I just want a high quality image in that box. And then there's an artist statement over here where you would type your name, use full sentences, title of your artwork, and then please answer these 2 questions. Please don't write, I don't know. Really think about how you embrace your art making problems and how you imagined and you get inspired. Now I want to show you another way to put your artwork in here if you don't have access to a separate device. So I'm just going to delete this. One of the other ways to do it that doesn't always come out as well, it's not as easy to do, it is easier to do even though it doesn't come out as well, is to go to Insert Image and go to the last option, which is Camera. And you all should have some kind of camera on your screen. That's the same camera that I see with. And you can hold up your artwork in front of the camera. The problem is I can't see my camera if my artwork's there, so I'm doing these weird things and it's backwards. If I move right, the artwork moves left. So you try to arrange it as best you can, and you're going to try not to hold most of your artwork because your hand will be in there. So once you kind of get it the way that you think might be okay, and it's not always that easy, you click Camera and Insert, and it will insert an image. But here's the really important thing to know. When you do that, it's usually crooked, so you will have to maybe rotate it a little bit. And I absolutely want you to use the crop feature today. So I'm going to make it bigger, but I want to get my hand out of there. So I'm going to click this little crop button, and I'm definitely going to crop my image. And it's not easy to do. Okay, and I'm cropping it. And to make the crop stay, and it's okay if you have to get a little bit of your artwork off of there. To make the crop stay, you go back and you have to click it again, and then I can straighten it out. And it might not be as good of an image, but at least it's something that I can say. And then you'll go back and you'll type in all your questions. Now, here's the one part that really kind of bugs me about Google Classroom. I've written to them, so hopefully they'll make it change. After you're all done with this, I don't know as your teacher that you're done with it. So there's an extra weird step that you have to do on Google Classroom, and mine will look different than yours, so I apologize that you can't really see it. When you're all done with this, it's the equivalent of doing your homework and keeping it in your backpack. As a teacher, even if you've done it, I don't know you've done it if it's in your backpack. So you always have to go back to the assignment that you were working on, and you have to actually click Turn In. So in the upper right-hand corner, you will have a Turn In button. I don't have it on mine because I'm the teacher, but always go back and click Turn In when you are done. So you'll have 2 windows open and you'll be going back and forth. And when your artist statement is done, your picture's in there, it's cropped, it looks pretty good. Then go back and click Turn In so I know you're ready for me to look at your artwork and use the rubric to assess it. This was so much information. So today I will make sure that I'm online and I'm here to help you troubleshoot because this is very challenging. I don't necessarily expect you to get it the first time, but with practice, we will get better and better and better with it. And the cool thing is then you'll have a digital copy of all the artwork you make, and you can start building a portfolio that you can look back on when you're in 11th and 12th grade and go, wow, I was pretty awesome in 6th grade, but look how much I grew as an artist. Thank you.